Hello, I'm Lemisila Pamela Ngubane, and this is the Entity Dynamics podcast. Entity Dynamics is a culture development consultancy where we believe that culture creates behavior and behavior creates reality. The title of this video is A Culture of Taking Advantage of the Law of Equal and Opposite Reactions. Okay, so Isaac Newton came up with this law, right? That for each action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So if you're a physicist or something, please don't hate me because I don't know if this law has been upgraded or something. But anyway, it works for my philosophical perspective right now. So for the purposes of this video, right, this law, how it applies to personal and social development, right, according to entity dynamics, is that, when something happens to you, okay, that puts you in a state of distress, you have an opportunity to take that same emotional content that is generated by that thing that happens and transmuting it so that that same emotional intensity becomes a springboard to take you where you yourself want to go. Okay. So, a lot of us here on earth have been very disappointed in our lives for various reasons. People have come through and made false promises and then obviously didn't keep them. And we became disappointed, we became angry, we became sad. Some of us became full-blown depressed. You know what I'm saying? So what if, instead of languishing in anger, depression, sadness, disappointment, bitterness, sometimes it even goes that far, how about you take that emotional content that you have going on, that anger, that bitterness, that depression, that sadness, right? It's all emotional content, all right? You take it and you make it, because it's potential energy, it's sitting there, and you turn it into kinetic energy to drive the next evolution of yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's say you've always wanted, I don't know, to write a novel, okay? But you've always felt like, no, what if I don't succeed? No one in my family's ever done such a thing. I don't know, no one's ever succeeded. There's a lot of the people that I do know have self-published novels and they don't make any money, blah, 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 right? All these things that we are programmed to put first before our own inclination to believe in ourselves, okay? So what if you want to write a novel and you've gone through this and you've got all this emotional content, which is really just causing you a great deal of discomfort, but it's not even discomfort like the discomfort of going to the gym and fixing your body up and making yourself muscular. It's a discomfort that's like the discomfort of a degenerative disease. It's not really helping anyone. It's not productive, right? So not to discount people's grief and pain, because I know I'm not the kind of person who wants someone to tell me to get over something. I'll get over it when I get over it, okay? So I'm not talking to you like that. If you're not ready to move on from your grief and your pain, by all means, go through it. Yes, but I'm talking to people who you're tired of it now. You're tired of being angry and sad and depressed, So what about, and people actually do this. A lot of people you'll see after they go through a very devastating, life-altering experience, a lot of them you'll see them flip their lives and suddenly they're doing everything that they ever wanted to do. They divorce a spouse that they were just on the brink of losing it with anyway, and they just start their life afresh, so it catalyzes that. But now what if it's a purposeful catalyzation? And it can apply to everything, even the smallest thing. Someone cuts you off in traffic, you take that emotional content and you turn it inward and you say, you know what, I'm going to learn to be more patient and just be that person who knows how to be more patient because it helps me in life to be patient. Let me, instead of being upset with this person cutting me off in traffic, or, like when someone turns too quickly in a circle, it's your turn to go and then this person just cuts through. Be like, you know what? maybe I need to slow down, learn a lesson from it. You know what I'm saying? So that's like the much more benign, softer version of this. But I'm talking about like something really hectic. You take that emotional content and you make it a springboard to writing your novel. So now you've got all this emotional content, you've got all this grief. Write a novel about it. Write a novel about it. Write a screenplay about it. Write a song about it if you write songs. You know what I mean? Or you've always wanted to start a vegetable garden and you've just always been putting it off because, oh, well, the birds and the bugs and whatever are going to eat the stuff I plant, and what's going to be the point, and it's not going to last. But that's like just an example of life on planet Earth. There's always something that's going to come and screw with you. Doesn't mean you shouldn't do stuff, right? So what if you just start your vegetable garden? Go get some seeds, just chuck them there and pull out. So what I did actually in this time now that I've planted my stuff, I let the weeds grow in my vegetable patch over winter. I let them grow, the weeds. And then I took all the seeds that I had, because I had seeds I'd kept from like last time. I had some mealy kernels from my previous crop of mealies, right? And I just threw everything, right? And then I weeded out all the weeds, okay? I took out all the weeds. And by pulling out the weeds and the seeds are there, it was a way of tilling the soil. So things are growing now. The mealies that I put are growing. There's quite a lot of them. And there's also other stuff. So, I'll see there's some pumpkin, whatever, So my point is this. There's always going to be something. So just take that emotional content and put it as kinetic energy, driving force energy into something that you want. Even if it's not anything like grand, just something that makes you happy, something that makes you feel fulfilled, something that makes you feel closer to yourself as a human being, closer to your authentic self, because life is going to give you lemons. And so, turn that emotional content, that anger, that grief, that sadness, that disgust, that disappointment, turn it into sugar. Turn it into a diamond, like how diamonds are made under pressure, right? Turn it into a diamond that you use as a drill to drill a hole into the life that you want. You know what I mean? Through that wall that has been dividing you from the life that you want, diamond-edged drill bit. You know what I mean? Turn it into sugar so that you can turn the lemons into lemonade. And then that way, things that are in the past that are like a source of grief, and obviously this actually helps you heal. This becomes part of your healing process. It's not like it's going to happen overnight, obviously, and you will find yourself maybe reverting back to the depression and the sadness and the anger. That's cool, but just keep taking that emotional content and putting it into what you really want for yourself in your life, putting it into cultivating better relationships with yourself and people around you, putting it into being more of a badass if you need to be. Sometimes something happens that pisses you off. Sometimes you just need to take that energy and make yourself more of a badass and more unapologetically yourself as well. You know what I mean? Making yourself stronger, making yourself more fabulous, making yourself more formidable, more of a force to be reckoned with. You know what I'm saying? Then what you do is you start to align with nature. That's what nature does. After there's a storm in a forest and the leaves have all been shaken or blown or hailstormed off, and there's things that have fallen over, and now there's like all these tree trunks on the floor of the forest. Nature integrates that into the ecosystem and it becomes part of the ecosystem. The leaves become compost. Those fallen over trees become new shelter for the animals. The fungi start to grow on the dead tree stumps on the dead tree logs and stumps as well. It all just integrates. And so we ourselves, by using this law of equal and opposite reactions, can take things which were supposed to defeat us and turn them into fuel for our evolution. And it's exactly like how Joseph said to his brothers. He said, what you meant for ill, God meant for good. That's a good illustration of that. So, yeah, thank you.